So with 8.2 around the corner, I started looking to the future and how I'm going to be making my gold making take a little bit of an acceleration with the release of the patch. And I was trying to see if there was anything that I could do right of this minute in order to be prepared to make a nice big gold spike when the patch hits. And two things immediately jumped out at me, and they were things that I decided that I was going to share in this video with you today. Now, the first one is going to be very simple and fairly obvious to most, although you would be forgiven for thinking that it might not be as I predict it to be, and who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but I am predicting a large increase in the value of herbs at the release of the patch. Now, a lot of people are saying that they don't believe that there will be a big spike because, as well as there being the increase in the demand that comes with the new patch, for people that want to do all of the upgrading of their professions and the crafting of the new flasks for doing their raids with, there will also be an increase in supply. Now, this is going to come from the fact that flying is going to be involved in the new BFA zones as of patch 8.2. And obviously, once people can fly, the availability of herbs goes through the roof, and that causes the price to sink. But the one consideration that we do need to make is that flying is coming in 8.2, but we don't instantly unlock it to the moment it arrives. Currently, as of the PTR, it involves quite a amount of content in the new zones to be completed in order to unlock flying, so it could take a little while. From what I'm given to understand, I haven't been able to jump onto the PTR myself, but people are predicting it's going to take a couple of weeks minimum to unlock flying, which means that the initial patch hitting will have a massive impact on the price of herbs, skyrocketing them as soon as the patch hits, but the increased supply won't come for a couple of weeks later. So I hope to have a nice stockpile of herbs ready to throw up on the auction house the minute the patch goes live. Watch as that price just keeps going up, and we can sell through all of it before that 2 weeks comes around and people start to get their own herbs and bring that value on these herbs come crashing right back down. So that was the first point I was going to make, and the second is going to be about professions as well. But this time we're moving away from gathering and into crafting. Now, 8.2 is going to bring a lot of new crafting recipes for all professions, but the ones that we're going to be focusing on is the crafting of the new PvP gear that is going to be coming, that comes with all of the patches so far in BFA, both the release and 8.1. Now, currently on the PTR, the recipes to get these new pieces of gear are not yet known from what source they arrive. However, if the history of World of Warcraft is anything to go by, it is highly likely that these will be purchasable recipes from a PvP vendor. And if that is the case, most likely the currency in question will be Marks of Honor. Now, Marks of Honor are something that you can gather up very easily now, and there is no reason, if Marks of Honor are the currency that you purchase these recipes with, to not have enough saved up to just buy everything the moment the patch hits. If you do that, then there is a very high amount of gold to be made for you, most notably being that these items sell very, very fast on patch day for people that are looking for the instantaneous item level boost. Now, understandably, this is quite risky because a lot of people will be looking to sell them just the same as you will be, but also demand will be high as well. I wouldn't go overboard and craft too many of these, as the price does always come plummeting down rather quickly and stays down after the initial high. But if you want to cash in on this, then please do be ready with your Marks of Honor in order to be able to purchase the recipes. Now, when it comes to the acquisition of these Marks of Honor, if you are a PvP player, chances are you've probably got a few hundred of them saved up somewhere. But if you're not, acquisition of them is actually incredibly easy. All you need to do basically is take part in any PvP. Almost all of them will have some means of rewarding you with a Mark of Honor or multiple Marks of Honor, and it's just simply the minimalistic reward that you get for participation. Now, of course, the better you do, the higher the likelihood that you will get Marks of Honor, and the amount of them you get will be quicker and easier to farm. But if you are terrible at PvP, simply enrolling in casual PvP and taking part will be sufficient to start the gathering process. As for me and how I like to do my Mark of Honor farming, I do like to do casual BGs. Now, casual BGs are easily done at max level with relatively short queue times and can be easily influenced from one person. So if you are looking to get the win and you have nobody else to rely upon, you're going to do this purely pugging it, in a 10-man BG, it is a lot easier for you to affect the outcome of the BG than it is in a 40-man. So please do not get lulled into doing the epic battlegrounds. You are much better off doing the casual, regular battlegrounds. Now, if you are looking for tips on how to improve your battleground win rates and what you should be doing, I have made a video on the subject and I will link it down in the description below. But one other point I wanted to make before we move on from Marks of Honor is that they can be gathered at any level, so you do not need to do this at maximum level in order to be able to gather your Marks of Honor. If you are looking to level an alt currently because you're bored in the downtime before 8.2, or maybe you want to get the alt up to become your main in patch 8.2, you can do both at the same time. You can be gathering your Marks of Honor whilst you level the character. In fact, battlegrounds at low levels are an incredibly good way of leveling. They often give close to a full level of experience for a victory. You do want to be getting your victories though, however, because the experience from losing is practically nothing, so do bear that in mind. If you are choosing to do this at max level, however, then also a consideration is the fact that you can be rewarded with these chests that you get at the end of battlegrounds. They are random and they also contain random rewards. However, one of the things that they can contain is the aforementioned herbs that I suggested stockpiling for sale at 8.2's launch. So in principle you can do everything that I have mentioned simply by doing battlegrounds. Now, of course, going and farming the herbs would be more efficient, but it is a nice little perk if you do decide to do your battlegrounds at maximum level. Now, while I did suggest to you that you stick to your 10-mans when it comes to doing your battlegrounds, there is one exception to that, and that is going to be that you do want to do the PvP brawls when they are available. Between the quest that you get for the completion of your first brawl and also the fact that they are often very, very quick affairs, you can find yourself getting a lot of Marks of Honor very quickly. So if one is available, at least do give it a try. You can determine for yourself whether the brawl that is active at the time is going to be an efficient way of farming for yourself, or if it's going to be somewhat slower than doing regular battlegrounds. The brawl that takes place at Taran Mill is well known for taking quite some time and not one I'd recommend, but all of the others that spring to mind are all very quick and ones that should be considered. And the final point of note is that while I alluded to you that herbs are the way to go for stockpiling and selling, this is also true of any other gathered materials from BFA, as the release of the equipment for PvP gear that I have alluded to that you should be farming for the ability to get the recipes from will also require the use of the current BFA materials as well as some of the new ones. This means that the same effect of the herbs will also be had for the sale of ores and leathers, but I am not personally going to be selling these, as I will be stockpiling them for the crafting of the items that we are getting the recipes for. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider liking the video, and also if you want to be kept up to date with any future developments or other guides that I bring out, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. But that's going to do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.